Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Arsha Education Wali from Kampala, Uganda. I welcome you all to my another ChatGPT session on a topic how to how to develop the effective public speaking skills. Okay, then today we are diving into one of the most valuable skills anyone can develop, that is public speaking. Sorry. So, whether you are addressing a small group or standing before a large audience, the ability to communicate clearly, confidently, and persuasively can open doors in both personal and professional life. To help us explore this topic, I have ChatGPT Maya here. So, let's call Maya.
What's up?
Maya, I'm here with another topic, how to develop effective public speaking skills. Are you ready for that?
Oh, I am so ready. Public
Okay.
speaking is such a great one. Where do you want to start? The nerves, the structure, or maybe how to actually keep an audience awake?
Okay, so what are the most common fears people face when speaking in public and how can they overcome them?
The biggest one is almost always the fear of judgment, that sudden, loud voice in your head wondering if you're forgetting your points or if everyone can see your hand shaking. And then you've got the fear of the blank mind, where you're convinced you'll just stop mid sentence and forget how to speak English. And for some, it's the physical vulnerability of all those eyes on them. The trick to overcoming it isn't actually trying to kill the nerves, it's reframing them. I usually suggest treating that adrenaline as excitement rather than anxiety. It's the same physical feeling, just a different story. Which one of those feels the most daunting to you?
Yeah. Okay, so how important is body language in public speaking and what techniques can improve it?
It's massive. Honestly, you could have the most brilliant script in the world, but if your body is saying, I don't want to be here, the audience will believe your posture over your words every time. It's all about projecting confidence and openness. One of the best moves is the power pause combined with a steady gaze. Instead of rushing to the next point, just stop for 2 seconds and look at someone. It makes you look in control and gives the audience a second to breathe. Do you find yourself using a lot of movement when you're teaching, or do you tend to stay more rooted?
I think the latter one. Okay, so what role does vocal variety, tone, pitch, and pace play in keeping an audience engaged?
It's basically the music of your speech. If you stay at one volume and one speed, you're essentially putting your audience into a hypnotic trance, and not the good kind. Vocal variety is how you signal what actually matters. Pitch is great for emotion, going higher to show excitement or lower to add gravity. Pace is where you build tension, speeding up to create energy and then slowing way down to let a key point sink in. Since you mentioned staying more rooted physically, your voice has to do a bit more of the heavy lifting to keep things dynamic. Do you feel like you naturally vary your tone, or do you tend to stick to a more steady academic rhythm?
I keep natural my tone.
Wait, did I lose you for a second? I think the audio clipped. Were you asking if you should just stick to your natural tone, or were you
Yes.
reflecting on how you sound? Got it. Being natural is definitely the goal because people can smell a performance from a mile away, and it usually creates a wall between you and the audience. But there's a slight difference between your natural conversation tone and your natural speaking tone. Think of it like turning up the volume on your personality. You're still you, but you're just emphasizing the peaks and valleys a bit more. So the person in the back row feels the same energy as the person in the front.
Okay. So how can someone structure a speech to make it clear?
The biggest mistake people make is trying to cover too much ground. I'm a big fan of the hook, meet, and payoff approach. You start with a hook, a story, a shocking stat, or a question to grab their attention immediately. Then you move into the meat, which should be no more than 3 key points anymore. And people start tuning out Finally, you hit them with the payoff, which is the so what of the whole thing, the one big idea you want them to remember when they walk out the door. It keeps you from rambling and gives the audience a map to follow.
Okay, so what are some practical exercises to build confidence before delivering a speech?
One of the quickest wins is recording yourself. I know it's the most cringeworthy thing in the world, but filming yourself on your phone is a game changer. It lets you see where you're rushing, where your natural charisma actually kicks in, which proves to your brain that you've actually got this. Another great one is the room warm up. If you can, get into the actual space where you'll be speaking before anyone else arrives. Walk the stage, stand where you'll be standing, and maybe even say your opening line out loud to the empty chairs. It turns the environment from an intimidating unknown into your own personal territory. Do you usually have a chance to prep the space beforehand, or are you often walking into a room cold?
Um, I'm a storytelling. Uh, okay, so how can storytelling be used effectively to connect with an audience?
Oh, now we're talking. Storytelling is basically a cheat code for engagement because our brains are wired for narratives, not bullet points. Turns a lesson into an experience. The most effective way to do it is to focus on the emotional stakes. Don't just tell them what happened, tell them how it felt and what was at risk. When you share a moment of vulnerability or a struggle, the audience stops judging you as a speaker and starts rooting for you as a person. That's
Okay.
when they actually start listening.
Okay, so what strategies can help manage nervousness or stage fright during a presentation?
First off, remember that the audience actually wants you to succeed. Nobody goes to a talk hoping it'll be awkward. When you're actually up there and feel that spike of panic, try a grounding technique. I love the toe curl. Just curl your toes tightly in your shoes. It's a secret physical release that nobody can see, but it pulls your focus out of your head and back into your body. Another move is to find one friendly face in the crowd, someone who's nodding or smiling, and speak directly to them for a few seconds. It turns a scary crowd back into a one on one conversation, which is way less intimidating.
Okay, so how can speakers adapt their style to different audiences, such as professionals, students, or community groups?
It's all about reading the room and adjusting your frequency. For professionals, you lead with the why and the value. Keep it tight, data driven, and respect their time. Students need a different energy. You have to be more of a guide, using hooks, curiosity, and a bit more dynamism to fight the attention span battle. Then with community groups, it's all about the human angle, relatability, shared values, and warmth over formal structure. You're basically the same person, but you're choosing which version of yourself the audience needs most to feel connected.
Okay, so
We've covered a lot of
what are the best ways to practice and rehearse a speech for maximum effectiveness?
the absolute best way is to practice in stages. First, do a flow run where you don't worry about the exact words, just the transition from one point to the next. Once the map is in your head, move to a verbal run where you say it out loud, not in your head, because speaking is a physical act. Finally, do a simulation. Stand up, wear the clothes you'll actually be wearing, and time yourself. It's amazing how a pair of heels or a formal jacket can actually change the way you breathe and speak.
Okay, so how can technology like slides, microphones, or teleprompters be used without distracting from the speaker's message?
The golden rule is that technology should be the supporting actor, never the lead. With slides, the biggest trap is the wall of text. If your audience is reading your slide, they've stopped listening to you. Use images or a single powerful phrase that punctuates your point rather than a script. As for the gear, the secret is the invisible tech check. Get there early, test the mic, And make sure you know how to advance your slides without having to stare at the laptop. When the tech just works, the audience forgets it's even there and stays locked in on you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Maya, for enlightening us on this topic. So, see you in the next session. Bye bye.
You're so welcome. It was a blast diving into this with you. I'll be here whenever you're ready for the next one. Bye for now.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us in this insightful conversation with Maya. So, see you in the next conversation. Until then, Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.